Hey, good evening, y'all. This is Anjali from the Dusty Hive, where the Hamiltons help you tell the story of your home. And I am so excited to have you join me this afternoon. Today, we're going to have a special guest for Monday Motivation. It's my friend Winnie. I mentioned a little bit about her and the announcement that I made in a post, and I hope you had a chance to go by her page and to see some of her beautiful artwork. But before we have her join me, I want us to find out a little bit about who considers themselves to be creative, because today we're going to be talking about your home reflecting creativity and your family's talents. And I thought of no one better than our guest today to do that with me. And so if you consider yourself to be a creative, I want you to drop me a thumbs up in the comments. And if you don't think you're a creative, give me a thumbs down. It's okay. And so we just want to know who we're chatting with today. And before I invite her on, I wanted to talk just a little tiny bit about creativity and what creativity is and how it can be a part of creating the home that you want. And I looked up this definition, I Googled it today, and this just really stood out to me because I think it's fitting and it goes with what we're talking about. It says that creativity is the use of imagination or original ideas. And if you think about your home, this truly applies to your home because there's no other home like yours. Yours is a one-of-a-kind individual. Even if the homes are built exactly the same floor plan or whatever, every home that you go into is going to reflect something about that person. And so today I thought of no one better than my friend Winnie to come on and to share with us how that originality can just show through in your home. And so I see that she just joined us. And so once again, this is only my second time doing this as a dual. And so a dual Facebook Live. So we're going to see how it works, and we're going to cross our fingers and believe that there are no technical difficulties. And so I see a couple of people joining in. And so just to say again, we're going to be talking creativity. And so if you gave me, I asked a while ago, for those of you who are just joining, I said, give me a thumbs up if you consider yourself to be creative, or you can give me a thumbs down if you don't think you're creative. But I bet you by the end, if we do that poll again, that we will find that there are many more people who are creative than they think they are. And so today I'm going to try and click over and get my friend to come in. So let's see. Bring Winnie on camera. There it is.
Hello.
Hey, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are you? This is my very first time.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shucks. Oh, I forgot to turn the camera sideways. If I did it sideways, it would have had a side by side.
You want to call back?
Yeah, let's try it again. So for those of you who are just joining, we're going to come right back because I just remembered one of those technical things that I didn't do. This is all new to me. So let's try again. So let me go off and then come back.
Okay.
Nothing like technical difficulties from the non-techie person here. So we're going to try this again. So as soon as I see some of my friends popping on again, then we'll try this again. It's just that with the Facebook app, you can't flip your camera during recording. It has to be set up. What is this called? Landscape. So we're going to try again. I see that she's there. So I'm going to bring her on camera. And let's see. That's better. I just didn't want everybody to see you in a little tiny screen from the top, and then me take up the whole
in charge
screen.
In charge of the world.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like. I was like, if it would have been, like, I don't know. Hey, Vivian. I'm so glad you could join us.
Thank you. John, I need some help here.
I sent Lucy and Lily
Okay.
out in the workshop with Chad. I was like, y'all are too distracting to me whenever I'm doing.
Yes, it's okay.
I told him, I said, if it's just me, I don't care, but I didn't want to, anyway. So
I got you. Okay, can you see? Is this a good angle for the camera?
I see Vivian. I don't see you.
All right. Hey, scoot over there, over right here. Scoot back by me. John's gonna help adjust it. Okay. Well, speaking of creative, we're trying to create. Oh, there we go.
There,
Is that
that's
better?
perfect. Right there. Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
So
nothing like
we're
live.
live.
Chad told me the other day, he's like, I hate these lives. I said, hey, but that's kind of the fun of it. I said, you just got to get used to it. I said, it's no fun to go back and watch something that's, already happened. I said, but if you get to join in and talk a little bit if you're there. So I think it's kind of fun. It's been a little stretching experience for me. So, and I keep looking to the wrong side. This is the non-techie person.
I'm gonna turn it up.
This is the non-techie person trying to pretend like she's all techie here. Yeah, I like your notes.
Yes, and look, I just revealed my notes on my hand on accident, just in case. And now I'm sweating because I was trying to get everything done, but I think we're good now. Okay.
It's gonna be good. So let me turn up a little bit, see if I can hear better. So anyhow,
yeah, I know mine went turned down too a little bit.
So what I was doing was I was talking about creativity, and there was no one there. So I'll go back and just mention what I shared a little bit earlier was that I was looking for just the right definition for creativity, and this is what I came up with. It says the use of imagination or original ideas, and I thought that was so fitting of the home, because even if I was saying, even if you have the same exact floor plan as another person, if you walk in that home, it's going to be original and creative.
1 million things different.
Yes. And so that's what I was saying about creativity before I jumped off and jumped back on. And then I also asked the question, because I think there will be a change of opinion about yourself by the end of our conversation, was if you considered yourself a creative or not. To give us a thumbs up if you think you're creative, and thumbs down if you don't think you are, because I think that they'll change their mind by the time we get finished talking today. But before we go into all of that, I want you to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself and your family.
Okay, well, and I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of people don't give themselves any credit for being creative, but people in general make probably 32,000. That's a statistic, not really, but we probably make 32,000 decisions a day. And those decisions require creativity, problem solving, and even if you're kind of a more systematic person, you are creative. If you're alive, you are creative. And I think a lot of people close the curtain because they feel, I think it's just not true. I think we're all creative. So with that, now I'm going back to say who I am. And it's kind of difficult looking at yourself on here, but you just get used to it, I guess. But so thank you so much, first off, for having me. And what a compliment that you would, value my input on creativity and the home, and I just really feel honored to be here. And I am Winnie Hughes, and I'm pretty much, I don't want to say it, but I am a person of many hats, and I've had many jobs. I'm pretty much like a circus person, but I've never worked at the circus. I've worked in schools, I've worked in the theater, I've worked in church, I've worked in music. I can't really remember. I worked at Bath and Body Works for one night, and I worked at Tommy's Pizza for one night. So
you are a woman of many hats, huh?
I have many hats, but being a mom and being kind of like a person, being a creative person really is my favorite thing to do. I've made a patchwork quilt of life, being creative in all my different ways. So I don't know if that gives me, credit or not, but yeah, I have many hats.
That's one of the things that I love about you is, I was thinking about that. I was like, I said, when I was writing down what I knew about the things that you were creating, I said, you write, you sing, you're an artist, you write music, and you bring the sparkle and the enchantment to every party, girl. You do.
Well, I feel like you get one life. I got that from that Sibley flow. You got one life. I told John as I was sweating coming in here, I was like, I have no idea what I'm fixing to do, but I'm just fixing to go. And I was like, that's my typical ingredient is like, just say yes and then figure out how to do it. It's like I work backwards. Like I'm coming, but I have no idea what I'm doing. And I think, when you work like that, if it doesn't work out perfectly, it's not embarrassing. And I think a lot of people we're told like you got to be perfect and it's got to be like this and it's got to be picture perfect. And humans really don't. We think we like that, but it's better to be around people who are like, I'm a mess too, but why don't you come be with me and we'll help each other out? Because I think perfectionists, your house has to be like this, and then you can have people over, or your house needs to look like that, we all want to fit this cookie cutter frame, but it's all kind of, maybe it's a lie. Mm-hmm. Maybe people just want to know that you like them and that you're welcome there. And I think a house can feel that way, like it can feel like an invitation. Like, listen, if you break something, I don't care.
Right.
I'm really here to love you and to have fun. Those are my two goals in life.
And you know what? That's why I asked you to do this with me, because I was thinking about, like I was saying, just about how every home is individual and how everyone, I just, and I guess maybe I was kind of stuck in that box at one point too, where I didn't think I was a creative person. Yes, I was a teacher and I had some sense of creativity to do the job that was before me, but I didn't feel like I produced anything creative. Then I slowed down a little bit and I started looking around and I was like, hey, I think I am pretty creative,
Yeah,
and
you have the breath of God in you. And whenever you say, like, I read this book once and it might be a little bit weird, but I love it because I think it's true. There are ideas floating everywhere in the universe, and they're ideas from God, they're ideas of creativity, and they're little breaths of life. And if you say yes to the idea, it's because we are all made of God's breath and we're made for life and light. And whenever we say, you know what, I'm going to write that down and I'm going to share my picture or I'm going to, whatever it is, whenever we say yes to life and we say yes to light, it like opens a little cavity in our heart. It's like a little pinhole of light kind of springs out. And if you say no to the idea, that idea will probably visit someone else, and someone else will probably do the idea, because the ideas come from God, because he wants beauty to come to the earth. Anyway, I know that might be weird, but
no, I think I read the same book. Would that be Big Magic or something like that? The title was something like Big Magic.
That is, I think that's Big. I'm pretty sure that is Big Magic.
Yeah.
Did you read it?
I did read it. Yes, I did.
Yeah. Then that was the book.
That was the theme behind it.
Yeah, you kind of. You got to find what you take from it, what you don't. But I love that book. It really like kind of challenged you to say yes to creativity, meet with creativity, and just do it and see where the path takes you. And I feel like, that is like the story. Yesterday I got trapped at home because both of my cars broke down. And, I started feeling like that. It's like a downward spiral, like, God, I got stuck and I want to do that. Now, we don't, so you feel that spiral trying to suck you down the drain. And I thought to myself, I've got way too much to be grateful for. And what's so fun is when you start to rearrange your house. Like, I don't do it every spring or every summer.
Right.
I don't necessarily, it's okay if you do. It's just sometimes I don't have a clock like that. But when I start feeling like kind of like shaken or like I don't really I like everybody else's stuff. I don't like mine. And boy, I must look like a rat nest when people come over, or whatever you tell yourself.
Right.
I'll say, like, why does my house look like a rat nest and everybody else, they got everything shining? But I start rearranging the things that I do have, and the books that people gave me, or the furniture that was passed on, and it just builds up gratitude in me. And I love to set up little, I used to call them scenes, but I found out later they're called vignettes. So I set up little vignettes of goodness, maybe, set up around an idea, or set up on my mantle, or set up in the boys' room. But, it's like your home is like a tapestry. and you get to create things. Sometimes you give stuff away, sometimes you put it away for later. Nothing is forever, so you just try it. So I find that the home is like a tapestry of life, and it tells the story of where you are right then. And like as the kids grow, the baby toys go away, but as adults we don't do that for ourselves. We're like, no, this is the living room and it's going to look like this, and I like that.
Right.
But I like to leave myself. If I want to paint on the wall, I'm painting on the wall. And guess what? It cost me $5 to, well, maybe more than $5 because you got to do all the sanding. My wall has like words coming out from yesteryear because I've always painted the walls, whatever I want on there, whatever saying. Like the harder the time in life I've been through, the more creative the home, because I'm hanging on for dear life and putting reminders everywhere. So I feel like your house can be a picture of maybe not what life looks like right now, but where you want to go. If you want to travel, set up maps, put rocks out.
Yes.
Or inspire the boys, like, hey, we're going to really go adventuring this summer. Here's our maps, and set up a little vignette. You don't have to change your whole living room, but like just find a little place where you can say, in the kitchen or on the counter or in the blank space. But I think to make your house have a sense of adventure is kind of important.
I love that about your home. There's so much for I was thinking there's so much for the eye and the heart to behold. I mean, because of your little vignettes that you set, or that are placed everywhere. And something that I thought of too is what you just shared about how it's not permanent. I mean, it can evolve.
No.
As your family story evolves, your environment is going to evolve and reflect that as well. I mean,
Absolutely. Last year, this wall behind me was filled with all my family pictures. Whoa, there's my other vignettes. The vignettes are everywhere. But I had that where the horse is. I'm just going to lift this up. It was filled with family pictures, which I love. And I still have all in frames, but I put them away because I was doing a birthday party or something for Vivian. And there was a part of me that used to say, like, no, I mean, if you put that away, you'll never take it out. And then nobody's going to know what they look like when they're 2. And that's not true. It's like I still have the shelves that they can go on in my little, I have very little storage, but I let go of the stuff that I feel like we don't need to revisit. And then I kind of hang on to those things, but my house doesn't have to sense like this family picture is going to be right here forever. It's like that will come back out. But right now this is where I paint. And so, when I'm getting ready for stuff, I put all my paintings on that wall too. So, you use your different rooms, and I read this quote that you're going to love. This girl on Instagram, and Instagram is famous for, like, if you got the major beautiful house, then everybody's going to love it. That's it.
You can find any style of beautiful home there. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can feel like, man, I have a rat nest, and I mean, God, and I was kind of not like going through that, but I think everybody gets visited by those different competitive, draws or whatever. And this girl, she has a really simple house, and she wrote, let me be clear, my house is not my dream house, because it's a small little ranch style house, but she has beautiful pictures. And she said, but it is the house that allows me to live my dreams. She said the mortgage is low, so I can travel. And I can have my little store, and my husband can do the farming. And she said, so
I must follow her too, because
Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie, the Freckled Hen Farmhouse or something like that. Yeah.
I screenshotted it. I wrote it on my hand. I've been like devouring that thought all day long, because it's to be appreciative for what you have gives that place power. And it says, you know what? This might not be my dream home, but it allows me to live my dreams. And that's my house. It's an old house. But I think when you love it, I read this also. When you love something, you can love it back to life. And if you don't like where your house is, or where you're, whatever it is, you can love it back to life just with polishing up a few things, setting up a few vignettes. And anyway, so
I love that too, because it doesn't have to be the dream home. I mean, I know whenever I was a single mom at one point in my life, I lived in a tiny apartment with my son, but it was like, you know what? I can sit here and I can pine away and dream. And I did. I was believing for a house, someday and all. But I made
Yeah.
the best of the space that we had. And I only think, I was thinking about this today. It's kind of funny because I'm all about letting the kids, like, they want a hand in decorating or whatever,
Yes.
making the space theirs too. Well, my son, he used to, whenever he was younger, I mean, I just let him go at it with scotch tape. But I wish they would have had, but now they have washi tape, and so
Yeah.
the girls know where the
Yeah.
box of washi tape is, and if they created something, they drew something or wrote something that they think is fitting and thinks, oh, this will go perfect right here on the living room wall. You know what?
Yes.
That's where it goes. They go get that
Absolutely.
washi tape and they tape it up there. I think that's one of the
Yeah.
best inventions ever is washi tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And it doesn't pull the paint off.
right,
I
right.
love that. That's so true. It reminds me of Joy. Joy lives in an apartment, and she was in school and was kind of in a downward spiral. And we all get there sometimes. And
Yes.
I loved, and this is what I would suggest if you felt like, hey, I'm in a crunchy place. I don't even know where to begin. We made a plan to, like, I went over to her house and I know her well, like the back of my hand. So I went and I was like, you know what? This is what you love. And sometimes you need a friend to love you back to life.
Absolutely.
And you need a friend's perspective to come and look, like, rummage through your things and say, okay, help you make a decision. Like, okay, let's let that go, but let's set this up. And it was such a gift to be able to give. And it was such a, like, when I walk in, I remember setting up those little spots for her, because it's like little spots to dream.
Yes.
And so anyway, I thought that reminded me of the apartment. It's like sometimes you need help, and it's okay to just say, hey, look, can you come over and help me set up? And then I think you let that light in, and it begins to.
And I think for the person who doesn't feel the freedom, or because I know, I mean, I've talked to several people and family members that say, I don't know. It's just when you put something together, it looks right. Whenever I put it together, it doesn't look right, or, that might struggle with that. Or even like I was saying about changing things out. That's where I started using, and I encouraged them to also start using like chalkboards and clipboards around the house. You can easily switch it out, and it doesn't have to be a big, long, drawn, like a whole day's work or a whole weekend's work to revamp a room. Just, hey, pull that picture off and stick another one on. Or write that Bible verse.
Remind yourself of what you love.
There. Yeah, to use what you have and all. So did you
That's really good. That's true.
Do you have, like, whenever you were doing your little vignettes or your because I was thinking about also in your home, both you and your husband, y'all are musicians, y'all write music, y'all sing, play musical instruments and all of that. Like, whenever you like, what are your best tips, like, for incorporating that? Because that it is reflected in your home. And so I just wanted people that have different talent, or talents. I mean, it might be musical, it might be athletic, or whatever. How do you what are your best
Yeah,
tips for doing that?
that's a good question. I think from the beginning we loved music before we did music together before we had kids. And so actually I'm in this room that I'm in right now is considered like our music room, our creative room. And I mean, our house is really small. So like this room, it has a piano in it. Let me see if I can spin this around without too much. So there you can see, and I love books. So there's that there. There's our piano. And hi, Winnie. And then there we are. We're at another thing with more books. But yeah, I think we set. I love that picture of my face. Yeah, I think we try to incorporate what we love and make room for that. And if in my living room yesterday when I was redoing things, I put out watercolors just in the sketchbooks. And I think when you put that in front of your children, they may not always sketch, and they may not always paint, but it does give them, one of my boys said, hey, can you wake me up early? Because they know I paint early in the morning. He's like, I'd like to paint and stuff. So I think when you prepare an area for creativity to have a hold. And I don't, the other thing is, if they got it on the table, I really don't care. It's just watercolor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have the freedom to create, and so do I. But we also have the freedom to make a mistake and to spill something, and they're not going to be, harassed about it. I mean, we'll clean it up, but it's not like the end of the day. We believe in the power of creativity and the power that is released in your life through that. And I think, I think you decorate with what you love. If you love fishing, decorate with fishing. Their room is all decorated with fishing and hunting and knives and everything.
The boy thing, huh?
Yeah, like Wild Explorers. Their room is like Wild Explorers world.
That's awesome, anyway. Though. That's awesome. And so, was there anything else that I know you had your notes written on your hand that you wanted to share with us?
Well, let's see.
Scroll through.
I think that's it. And on that last note that you mentioned, hey Chad, I see thumbs up. On the last thought, you mentioned about
actually, I think that's the girls that has his has his phone, because he just walked in to get something, and so they must have his phone somewhere out in the yard or something.
Well, that's good. At least they're liking what we're saying, so that's good. I remembered from my parents growing up, they were very they really encouraged each of us to have interest, and then they helped develop our rooms with that interest over the years. Like, I had one brother that was really into history and the Civil War, and so they really, they did vacations about that. They did decorations about that, and they really kind of created an atmosphere to support that. And my other brother, he really liked Indian regalia, so they helped him do all that. And then in my room, I had like dolls, and my parents were instrumental in helping. And I think if you do that, it helps children to realize who they are and what they like. And then you don't have everybody, when they get older, they kind of have a sense their creativity has been dignified, and their likes have been like, it creates a bond. Like, I want you to, shut the door whenever I say shut the door, but I also support your dreams, and I love what you love. And I adore that about you. And I notice that about you. And I think when we it kind of makes me want to cry, like whenever when we recognize what they love, it's a, not just a home dynamic, but I think it creates a bond, and it also creates an atmosphere of acceptance and dignified. Like, your thoughts matter to me. And not only that, but I got you a little picture. We made this for your room, or look at your artwork. We have your artwork in here. Cause I think your stuff is beautiful, and I think when we do, there is power in recognizing their talents and their interests too. So that's
beautiful. I love that.
Really, that would be really true, and dignifying and looking deeply, even, as they get older, and I don't know. I just think it's really one of the best gifts in the world to be able to see a little life, and all their interest, and it just makes me want to cry.
I know. When you think about it, because I see that with my girls too, just their interest, budding, and just, by the things that I see, because they already have that little knack of like, this is what I'm liking right now. And so they'll have a special spot on the shelf, and they'll have the little things standing around it, or whatever, that really, that really speaks to where they are, and where their interest and what they're dreaming about, at that time. And so I feel that is an important thing, especially those that have, children in the home, to let them begin to do that. And that's really my whole heart, and I was thinking about that, even though I've we've known each other for a long time, but really just recently our paths, crossed, and we connected over, having the same heart and the same passion for homeschooling our children. And so, I think for us in our home, that's also a reflection in our home, as I see it, in yours as well. So anyway, let me see if there was anything else. I made myself a couple little notes so I would stay on track here. Oh, do you have, oh yeah, I did want to tell everyone that they can see your artwork on your Facebook page at Be Wonder Filled, the
Yeah.
Wonder Emporium, that
Yes, yes,
you share
yes.
your artwork on that page. And so you're on Facebook there. If you didn't get a chance to go, like, hey, Vivian, I see you
Did
again.
you notice you had a little visitor?
I see that. I like little visitors popping in. She looks real fancy today.
Well, she's fixing to turn 4, so she keeps practicing what she's going to wear when she turns 4.
Oh, there
What you
you
just
go.
saw was a sneak peek of the 4-year-old outfit. It's going to be all pink and very fluffy.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
And so,
Yeah. So
do you have anything? I know you do seasonal workshops and all of that. Sometimes do you
yeah,
have
I
y'all have anything coming up soon that you want to
I
share about?
don't, but we're working on getting the building all the way. It's almost to the point where kind of it'll have a little bit more of a flow because it's all done, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's all like I have a schedule of events. So right now I'm working to finish out the back of that studio area, and so we're kind of just working on that. But I don't have any now. Last summer I did some, and I was just talking to Amber about that earlier. I'm definitely gonna go back into doing that, but right now, but I we were having so many other things that we were kind of
Yeah,
getting the
yeah,
ball rolling on. Those things will now kind of roll naturally, and then I'll be able to kind of schedule some other things. And I'm just really excited because I think that releasing people into creativity is I think it's the dream of God. I think God
yes,
loves. I
absolutely.
think it brings us back to life. When we allow Him to create through us, and even if our creations don't look like everybody else's, or even if people don't really love Him, like, oh my God, it doesn't really matter because we're doing what we're supposed to do, and that's going to breathe life into us. And when we're alive, then I think it's easier to create children who are alive because we're not miserable.
Yes,
you know
yes.
Creativity keeps you happy, and it keeps you young, and it keeps you kind of like a little bit, you understand a little bit more. Like, I remember the day, actually the other lady that had on, Heather, I never told her this is a secret, a truth bomb.
Okay.
I just she was always a hairstylist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when one time I went on a mission trip with her or something, and I had these barrettes in my hand, and I desperately wanted to ask her to like clip my hair back, you know. But I never got the nerve to ask her
Mm-hmm.
because I was nervous, because I was a kid. But I think whenever you remember, when you remember your creativity and you remember that childlike side,
Mm-hmm.
it reminds you how important children are, the current ones in your life.
Yes.
And whenever they do come through the door, and whenever even if they're not yours, it's so important because you never know, their little minds are alive and well. Their little hopes and dreams are alive and well. And as carriers of goodness, we have to know that, and we have to recognize them, and we need to smile at them and love them, and I think that's what creativity does. It opens up a past. It opens up your past, and it reminds you that, hey, that little kid over there that's 5, they really think they're important because they are, and they really
Yes.
look to you for something, even if you're not their mama. And you really can change lives just by loving them and being kind to them. And I think that's what's important about creativity, because it reminds you of the importance of childhood and the magic. So anyway, I hope I wasn't all over the
Beautiful.
place. I never did anything like this.
It's beautiful. No, that's exactly. I mean, hey, I'm inspired. I'm ready to go. The girls and I we always start at this time of the year, Memorial Day's coming up. So we kind of start pulling out all of our patriotic stuff, because it says, oh,
Oh yeah,
it takes us through Memorial Day in May. What is it? Flag Day in June and 4th of July in July. And so, yeah, they've
yeah,
been pulling
that's a
out red,
good
white, and
idea.
blue stuff, digging stuff around, all day today. So
Yeah.
they're excited to finish that up tonight. I said, well, maybe this evening after we finish this up and all that, we'll get back to that. And so anyway, I thank you so much for joining me, because really I
Oh,
do.
thank you.
I shared with Winnie, and we were texting each other back and forth, and so I can't see any comments right now. If anyone's commenting, I am so sorry. All I see is some of the people who are on here. I can see, I don't know, I guess because of how I have the camera turned or whatever. But something really, I mean, because for me, this idea of, your home telling your family story and all. It's just really something that's just been like just a vision and a passion, that's been on my heart.
You,
And
yeah.
when I started thinking about it, and just all the wonderful people, that are in my life, I started seeing, like a different dynamic that so many of you that are watching. So wait for a little message from me. Maybe I'm looking at some names here that are popping up. That we all have so much to offer to this conversation, and I really
Yeah.
think that is what's that Mother Teresa quote about one of the
Go home
greatest
and
things
love
that
your
you can do
family.
is go home and love your family. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Love
really, I
begins at
mean,
home.
yes. And I think that, as we develop our home and let our family story evolves, and it's reflected in our home, that strong families build strong communities, and strong
Yeah.
communities, hey, all starts with a family,
Yeah.
changing a nation, and I know that I want that
Yeah.
for my kids, for them to be rooted, in their home, and for them to always have fond memories, whenever they grow up,
Yeah.
of their home and all of that. So some of you ladies and gents who are watching, you might be getting a message from me to add to the conversation, because I don't want
Yeah.
once and
That's
for
a
all
great
thing.
idea.
I think there's so much we can learn from each other, and that this is just really
Yes.
just an avenue for us to just open that up to other people. So anyway, so thanks for joining
Agree.
me, and
Gosh, thank you for
y'all
having me.
y'all can.
I felt like I just saw you. It's weird.
I,
I feel like we've been together.
Yes, and so for those, like I was saying, Winnie can be found at the Be Wonderfield, the Wonder Emporium, and you can go like her page there to see her artwork, and any workshops or anything like that she has coming up, and then we are, myself, Anjali, Chad, and I, we're at the Dusty Hive, and so if you haven't liked our page yet, we'd appreciate you going over and liking us as well, and we just thank y'all for joining us today. That we hope that you were inspired this evening, and that you found
Yes.
some little truth nugget that you could take and just implement in your home. And so go tell your story. That's what that's how
Yes. Tell your story. It
tell your
matters.
story.
It
And
really does matter.
so thanks, Winnie, and thanks,
Yes.
Vivian. I like that pink bow. Can't wait to see all that 4-year-old pink and
Everything's
fluffiness.
pink.
So we'll go
All
on.
right. Thank
We'll
you
let
for
everybody go
having
on with
me.
their evening. And thanks for joining us. 4. I see that 4.
Turn
We'll
4.
see y'all. Thanks. Y'all have a
Thank you
great
for having
evening.
me.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night.